Good morning,
Morning.
Pam. Good morning. I'm really curious about this workshop. I want to know, first of all, what's the title of it and why did you pick that title?
Oh, okay. Yes, it's actually a couple of workshops put together because it's going to be, or I've envisioned it as a retreat, a whole day retreat. And so I named it Serenity, Courage, and Wisdom, the Sound of Self-Compassion. And of course, self-compassion, I consider what I offer people is self-compassion coaching. And that's trying to help women, help men, help people be kind to themselves, particularly when they're going through something difficult. But I came up with the serenity. The serenity prayer has been important to me for a long time. And I thought, what do these three words, serenity, courage, and wisdom, have to do with self-compassion? And as I kept thinking about it, well, when we can at least get a glimmer of serenity, then we are being kind to ourselves. And when we are kind to ourselves, then the serenity builds. And so the serenity to accept, well, accepting, self-acceptance is huge when we need to be kind to ourselves, because we have to accept, well, whatever is here, whatever is there. And then courage. Well, courage, we can be courageous, and I was for years not very kind to myself within. But when we add self-compassion to courage, it becomes a dynamic self-compassion. It is something that motivates us and protects us. And then it goes on, courage to change. Well, if I don't change, or we don't change what we do, then we're always going to get what we've always gotten. And then the other one was wisdom. Those two things combined we're asking for the wisdom to know the difference. Are we trying to change something we can, or are we trying to force something? And wisdom with self-compassion, I call that our wise one within. When we can listen to that wisdom, to know that maybe we are being hard on ourselves, and then we can take a breath and be calm. Those three elements in with self-compassion are, well, they've been powerful for me, I guess. And so I want to share that with other people. Now, you asked the other part, the sound of self-compassion. My daughter.
Wait a sec, I actually hadn't asked you about that yet.
Oh,
but I'm going to.
Okay.
Because I know you're so excited. I know, because you want to share this with people. Before we get into that, I just wanted to talk about the context of this retreat, which I misnamed a workshop, and it really is a retreat. And I'm looking forward to participating, by the way. Is, of course, what we're living through. We're all being asked to live through right now, which is isolating with COVID-19. We are also now faced with a fresh tragedy out of Nova Scotia. I think the timing of your retreat, it couldn't be better. And wondering, how you will, if that's going to be part of if you're going to be addressing that in the retreat, or just being mindful of it, because I think it's a good idea, and I suspect, knowing you as I do, that we need to name some of the things that we are all collectively dealing with, as well as the things that we are individual to each of us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, so true. When I thought of this retreat way back in the end of January, I had planned on doing it in face-to-face, in person. And I had a place picked out near Guelph in Rockwood. And I had arranged with the owner, and I thought 16 women, I could see them in this place. It was a lovely little cottage. And then time went on, and at the end of February, began to see in the beginning of March, this is not going to happen even at the end of April. And so in talking with others, watching other people do things online, I thought, what if we could put it online? What would that look like? Well, I don't know, because I've never done an online retreat. I've done face-to-face. And and I thought, one of the things I thought was, well, people are in isolation. They're not going to want to take, women aren't going to want to take a whole day by themselves. They're already in isolation. And then I thought, well, maybe what better time? Because in this isolation, I'm hearing from other people that I'm on meetings with, it is stressful. They have children at home, they have family at home, or maybe they are all by themselves. And I thought, oh, well, maybe this is the best time to have this online retreat, so that a woman can take, and they have to plan too. They have to be able to have the space and take the time and share with their family what's going on, and even make a decision if they live alone, to do this. I think you're absolutely right. I think it will come out, the grief, some of the frustrations of this being at home, not being able to see people, touch people. I think that will come out, and it's organic. Now I have things planned. I used to be a teacher, so I have things planned. But I also know that this retreat will actually dictate, or it will flow. It will create itself, and it's like coaching. When I coach people, I don't have an agenda, but the questions I ask, I go wherever they go. So I'm anticipating that what I have planned may be put aside, and wherever that discussion goes, pulling through it, that sense of how can we, in this time, how can we still be kind to ourselves? And reminding people that when we honor that self-compassion within, it actually builds our compassion for others. And being in a group, yeah, and being in a group, because I've had people say to me, well, I can do that on my own. I can just stay at home and read stuff. And that's true. But when we share things with other people, and I'm going to use myself as an example. If I'm sharing something in a group and I hear myself say that, I sometimes wake up. Oh, and when I hear other people, they often remind me of being in that situation, or a feeling that I may not be wanting to deal with at that moment, but I can listen to other people. And I always tell people when we start the retreat, this is not an event, this is a process. So what gets started on that day is not just dropped and that's it. It actually works on each individual later on. So I think that that whole idea of the isolation, I mean, we can isolate, I think we can isolate internally to the point where we numb our feelings and we ignore what we are feeling. And as you said, it's so important to be able to name some of those feelings that are difficult. In the grocery store the other day, I'm pretty positive, but I'm walking around and I had to avoid someone else. And as I avoided them to give them distance, I found I choked. I was like, I want to just stand there and cry. I have no idea why, but those kind of feelings. And I just thought to myself, whoa, there's some grief and frustration. And I did some deep breathing and I was able to keep shopping. But I know I'm not alone. I know other people are feeling that, even if they may not be saying it all the time.
Yeah, thank you. I can tell you for sure that other people are feeling that, including this person.